Should Kamala Harris run for California governor in 2026 after polls show her leading? I'm going to give that a big no. Yeah. Kamala spent 100 days telling voters, I know it feels like crime and illegal immigration are bad, but fuck your feelings. Look at this chart. Have you seen my "In this house we believe" lawn sign? See, it says right on it, we believe in science. Right, which is why you demanded no one even debate whether COVID could have escaped from the one lab in the one city where they were studying it. How far-fetched. You wear Queers for Palestine t-shirts and masks 2 years after the pandemic ended. And you can't define woman, I mean person who menstruates. You're the teachers' union education party, and you've turned schools and colleges into a joke.
Bill Maher just did the unthinkable. He turned on his own team and threw Kamala Harris straight under the bus. But here's what we didn't tell you: the messy, behind-the-scenes drama that led up to his brutal betrayal. And if that wasn't wild enough, get this: Maher just gave Trump a rare moment of praise. Yep, the same guy who spent years tearing Trump apart just threw him a bone. What's really going on here? Before we break it all down, do yourself a favor. Smash that subscribe button so you never miss the latest explosive political drama. All right, let's dive in.
Harris would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first. I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular. You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no finger.
Maher ditched Kamala for the obvious reason. She was about as popular as a root canal, even with her own party. But did that stop her team from shoving her down America's throat like a bad TikTok trend? Nope. They paraded Mindy Kaling, Meghan Markle, Lizzo, influencer collabs, even had her dancing on camera. Spoiler, it flopped. Maher wasn't fooled. In classic style, he mocked the cringe. Oh sure, because what voters really want in a VP is great TikTok moves. And no, the excuse that she didn't have time to campaign doesn't fly. Even if Biden had run, he'd have face-planted too, because Dem policies were as appealing as expired milk. Forcing EV mandates, expecting people to drop Tesla money just to feel smug at a stoplight? No thanks. Soft on crime chaos? Shoplifters treating stores like supermarket sweep? Yeah, voters weren't thrilled. But Maher's real issue with Kamala? Not just unpopularity, flat-out incompetence.
In 3 years as vice president, she's been quieter than an electric car. Sometimes life isn't fair. It's not fair that she's not popular. She's intelligent and accomplished, and in fact was put in charge of the border. And look at how... Okay, bad example.
As if being historically unpopular wasn't bad enough, Kamala Harris, according to Bill Maher, was also a masterclass in incompetence. And honestly, who can disagree? She was handed one of the biggest disasters of Biden's presidency, the border crisis. And what did she do? Ghosted like a bad Tinder date. When she finally bothered to show up, after months of backlash, it felt more like a staged photo op than actual leadership. Her big solution? Mumbling about root causes and delivering a half-hearted message to migrants: do not come. Oh yeah, that'll fix it. If you think Maher was being too harsh, watch this clip and judge for yourself.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I'm not afraid of good ideas where they occurred,
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense, because he actually didn't do much of anything. We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
While Kamala dodged responsibility, illegal crossings exploded. Cities were overrun, and we were left wondering, does our border czar even know where the border is? Every time she was asked, she spewed incoherent word salads, like a student stretching an essay on a book they never read. Embarrassing. This wasn't just a failure, it was a warning, a preview of what full Kamala control would look like. Spoiler, she flunked hard. Instead of stepping up, she treated the crisis like an inconvenience, hoping it would just disappear. It didn't, and even Maher, a liberal, couldn't ignore the catastrophe she left behind. But incompetence wasn't the only reason he turned on her. The next? Straight-up dishonesty. Watch as this CNN journalist shreds her lies apart.
You wear Queers for Palestine t-shirts and masks 2 years after the pandemic ended. And you can't define woman, I mean person who menstruates. You're the teachers' union education party and you've turned schools and colleges into a joke. What a shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and sex see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Kamala spent 100 days telling voters, I know it feels like crime and illegal immigration are bad, but fuck your feelings. Look at this chart. Have you seen my "In this house we believe" lawn sign? See, it says right on it, we believe in science. Right, which is why you demanded no one even debate whether COVID could have escaped from the one lab in the one city where they were studying it. How far-fetched. Democrats have become like a royal family that, because of so much incest, has unfortunately had children who are retarded.
Kamala Harris raged against Trump's border wall until she didn't. In 2019, she trashed it as a medieval vanity project and voted against funding it. Fast forward to 2023, the Biden administration quietly greenlit new wall construction in Texas. And when called out, Kamala did what she does best: deflect and deny. Enter Anderson Cooper, who actually pressed her. When he pointed out the administration was literally building more wall, she boldly claimed, "No, we're not." Cooper, barely hiding his frustration, reminded her DHS had already confirmed it. It was classic Harris, caught, dodging, and hoping no one noticed. But Maher and the rest of America sure did. And the next reason he tore into her? The same stale policies voters are sick of.
I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
The left pushed policies so absurd that even diehard liberals like Bill Maher had to stop and say, wait, what? It became a game of who could say the most ridiculous thing with a straight face. Take biological men dominating women's sports. Decades of female athletic progress thrown out the window because feelings trumped fairness. If you dared to question it, boom, you're a bigot. Then came the bizarre contradiction of LGBTQ activists rocking Queers for Palestine shirts, supporting a group that, spoiler alert, doesn't support them back. Nothing screams progress like backing a cause that would literally outlaw your existence. Maher, ever the realist, couldn't ignore the madness. But the final straw, Kamala's signature move, her legendary brain-melting word salads. Roll the clip.
Should Kamala Harris run for California governor in 2026 after polls show her leading? I'm going to give that a big no.
She's had her chance several times.
She should run far, far away.
Yeah, I think Kamala Harris would make a great president of a university.
Kamala's word salad, a malfunctioning AI glitch. Corner her on policy, leadership, or geography, and she'd spew nonsense like a magic 8-ball on shuffle. Now picture her as president, delivering a crucial speech while diplomats stare. Allies wonder if they missed a translation, and enemies? Oh, they'd love it. Weak leadership on full display. Maher saw the disaster potential in real time. If she crumbled under mild pressure, how would she handle a real crisis? Spoiler, she wouldn't. Even her own staff probably played Kamala bingo while Putin and she laughed at the train wreck.
All I know is that nobody voted for Kamala. They just said, okay, you're it. They did this in 2016. Bernie Sanders, he was the guy that got all the votes in the primary. Like, we just give it to Hillary. And in 2020, just everybody drop out, just give it to Biden. And then this year, it's like, everybody figured it out. His brain doesn't work. Let's just get Kamala. You know? Here's what you have. You have somebody that nobody voted for, and you got somebody they tried to murder 2 times. I don't know which one's probably going to hold up democracy.
Even Bill Maher thinks Kamala isn't fit to run for anything, not even California governor. And he didn't just doubt her, he shredded her. If she couldn't handle VP, how could she fix a state drowning in crime, homelessness, and fleeing businesses? Spoiler, she wouldn't. She'd just word salad her way through it. Even Maar wasn't buying it. And neither was comedian Rob Schneider, who pointed out nobody even voted for her. She was just handed the role. Roll the clip.
She's better. No, let me tell you, Kamala, she does different accents, depending on where she is, down south. Let me tell you something. You boys better get it together here and vote. Save democracy. Black community, she's like, shit, let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you right now, we ain't vote for Trump, I even saw her at a 7-Eleven going like, listen, it's very important that we vote for the Democrats. We're trying to save democracy here. We're trying to save democracy. For sure, you don't understand. You need to vote. You need to vote.
Kamala Harris didn't win public support. She was handed power. The Democratic establishment anointed her, convinced she was somehow the future of the party. Rob Schneider nailed it. She's unfit to run a democracy when she can barely string a sentence together, let alone lead a nation. Meanwhile, Trump? The actual choice of millions. He dominated the primaries, survived 2 assassination attempts, and proved he's literally battle-tested. While Kamala fumbled through interviews like a bad group project, Trump was out rallying crowds, reminding America why he's still the most powerful political force. The contrast couldn't be clearer.
The Democrats still seem confused as to why they lost this election. They want to think it has something to do with misogyny or racism. Well, let me clear it up for those still bewildered Democrats. You lost because you tried to tell the American people that the economy was great when they couldn't afford to buy groceries. You lost because you ran a moron in place of a president you knew was a corpse attached to a car battery. You lost because you lied about January 6th, calling it worse than Pearl Harbor or 9/11. You lost because men can't have babies, women don't have dicks, and free speech isn't a privilege like a driver's license. It's a God-given right guaranteed by our Constitution.
Rob Schneider doesn't just think Kamala is unfit to lead, he thinks she's too fake to take seriously. His biggest gripe? Her ever-changing accents. 1 minute, a southern twang, the next, forced urban dialect, all topped off with cringy pandering. It was like watching a bad impressionist flop on stage. Schneider roasted her chameleon act, reminding everyone that authenticity matters. Voters can smell phoniness, and Kamala reeked of it. Love or hate Trump, you know it's him. With Kamala, you never knew which version you'd get, except none of them were real. No wonder her approval tanked. If she couldn't stick to one voice, how could anyone trust her to lead?
Trump's going back to where they tried to kill him. That's right. Well, hopefully they'll have better security this time. The Secret Service, they knew about the guy 52 minutes beforehand. They have not released the audio from the body cam, and I don't think they ever will. But if they do, I bet it would sound something like this. You see that up there? What? Up there. He's got a gun. What do you think he wants? I don't know, it's not duck season. Hey, be careful. Don't aim over here. There's going to be people over here. The president's going to be right here in 52 minutes.
Rob Schneider, like Bill Maher, didn't hold back. According to him, Democrats didn't just lose on policy, they lost on lies. And not small lies, massive, reality-bending whoppers. They lied about Biden's mental sharpness while he struggled through sentences. They lied about men having babies, pushing woke nonsense as science. They lied about the economy, gaslighting Americans as prices soared. But reality caught up. After years of gaslighting the public, voters finally stopped listening. Schneider joked that Democrats could declare the sky is green and their media allies would nod along. But in 2024, voters chose reality and gave them a brutal wake-up call.
The woman that you're supporting, Kamala Harris, and her running mate, Walls Paper.
They said that the free speech, they describe it as a privilege. Now, this is either they're constitutionally ignorant or they're knowingly false, because it is a guaranteed First Amendment right for all Americans. It is not a privilege like a driver's license. When you are born in America, you have the right to speak your mind, and it isn't the nice stuff that needs protecting. It's the stuff that everybody disagrees with. It's the stuff that maybe is not nice, but that needs to be protecting too, because if someone's going to decide what free speech that you say and what I say, if it's going to be the government, they're always going to do what's best for the government. So we need to protect all speech, and I'm going to protect your right to free speech. I'm going to protect your right to vote any way that you want from the highest mountain. Always, I will do that.
It sounds like a joke, but Schneider is right. For years, Democrats pushed one of the most absurd narratives in politics, that Donald Trump is the second coming of Hitler. Yes, they actually expected Americans to believe that a celebrity who cracked jokes on The Apprentice and received awards from civil rights groups was somehow the biggest threat to democracy since W2. Hollywood elites, late-night hosts, and so-called journalists repeated the script non-stop. But after years of crying fascist over everything, people stopped listening. When you compare immigration enforcement to genocide, you lose credibility fast. Schneider called out the hypocrisy, pointing out that if Trump were truly a dictator, half of Hollywood wouldn't still have careers after trashing him for 8 years. This is why people respect Schneider. He calls out the nonsense no matter what side it's coming from.
Look what happened in LA. The chief of the fire department, she put this out on her website for the LA Fire Department. A gay man asked her, would you be able to carry my husband out in case of a fire? And she said, well, if I have to carry your husband out, he got himself in a bad spot. See, that's precisely the point why he needs to get rescued. You don't want a fireman coming over going, yeah, fire department's here. All right, hope you're not in a bad spot. You're dead. No. I want a big, bulky 6'8" Austrian or Polish dude to come kick the door down, see me crying in the corner. Come on, we gotta get out. Come on. He picks me up. I'm naked and half hard. You know, he says, I'll jerk you off when we get out there. You're safe now.
What's the deal with Rob Schneider and Bill Maher? Simple. They actually speak the truth. No filters, no playing nice, just straight-up reality checks. While politicians and media elites dance around the facts, these two cut right through the nonsense. Schneider calls out hypocrisy without hesitation, while Maher isn't afraid to roast his own party when they lose the plot. In a world drowning in scripted talking points, they stand out by actually thinking for themselves. From Kamala's failures to the left's non-stop gaslighting, they pull back the curtain. And let's be honest, that's exactly what people are craving. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe. More hard-hitting content is on the way. See you in the next one.